Alrighty, so starting with our blue player, PrussianPrince with the greenskins. We're going to be seeing a front line of 1, 2, and 3 units of goblins. Looks like between them we're going to have some orc boys fleshing out the line. Going to be 3 of them as well. Now, ample supplies of mobility here. We're going to have 2 Forest Goblin Spider Riders on this right flank, accompanying 2 Goblin Wolf Chariots, some of my favorite units in the damn game. And then on the left flank, we're going to be seeing some Night Goblin Squig Hoppers, 4 Goblin Spider Riders, so 2 Force Spider Riders and 1 Squig Hopper. Now for the center, we're going to be seeing the 8 Beak Loonies, Unbreakable Regiment of Renowned Night Goblins, and then we do have the Durkit Squigs, ROR Squig Hoppers. And then for leadership and monsters, we have some Stone Trolls. We're going to be looking at a Giant. And then to round the forces out, we do see a River Troll Hag here with Mither, Power Stone, Spirit Leech, as well as Grom the Paunch. Grom the Paunch will be bringing the Lucky Banner and the Language of the Boys. That rounds it out for the Greenskins. So now going over to the Skaven, I'm going to be seeing a front line of Gutter Runners, Night Runners. So yeah, looks like 1 Night Runner, 2 Gutter Runners with Poison. Going to have some Wolf Rats with Poison as well. We're then going to be taking a look here at some Skaven Slaves, 1, 2, 3, 4. We're going to have some Clan Rat Spears, 1, 2, 3, and 4 of them by the looks of it, along with the Council Guard Storm Vermin, ROR. We're going to have some Poison Wind Mortars, a Brood Horror, a Packmaster on top of a Brood Horror, who will be bringing with him, I imagine, will be the heal item. Yeah, running with the pack. And then last but never least, we do have the Skaven Lord here, a Gracier of Plague on top of that Screaming Bell. We're going to be bringing Arcane Conduit, Vermintide, Blessed with Filth, the dreaded 13th spell, and Scorch and Unholy Clamor. So God bless them. Gotta love that dreaded 13th spell. Okay, now I think that rounds it out, so I'll go ahead and give the players the go-ahead. Oops. Alright, let's see how it goes. Kark, my beautiful boy, how are you doing, my friend? I'm really sorry that you didn't make it in this year. You're one of my favorite players to watch. But here it goes, the Greenskins and the Skaven coming into action. Right, over here the Greenskins are pushing forward with their mobility. The Skaven Wolf Rats with Poison are going to just want to stay hidden, obviously. They wouldn't win this combat 3 against 1, but with the Broodhorn and the Packmaster nearby, looks like the Greenskins are going to kind of, you know, not overcommit into that flank, which is a good idea. Right flank is still kind of just sitting back, waiting to see how the battle's shaping up. Poison Wind Mortars opening fire. Oh, some nice dodges from the Greenskins. You can see just pulling back as soon as those volleys went out. HW is actually Throg F&G. Yeah, I guess with my puking that makes sense. Alright, Grom the Paunch coming out, getting into action. He'll definitely be opening himself up to some fire, but you know, it doesn't seem like he cares too much. He has regeneration. He can soak up some of that damage. Over here we do have a single unit Forest Goblin Spider Riders now coming out to help out Grom, getting on top of these Gutter Runners with Poison, and now the Gutter Runners could be in trouble. But oh, look at this, a counterattack coming from the Skaven pushing in hard with the Brood Horrors, and the Wolf Rats is going to cause the Greenskin to break off that assault. And now looks like the Greenskins over here are going to be trying to keep a healthy distance from these Wolf Rats with Poison as well. Spirit Leech going down on top of the Packmaster. I honestly might... I usually like to Spirit Leech Poison Wind Mortars first thing if I'm playing Greenskins, but Prussian Prince is a great player, so we'll see how his prioritization of targeting goes as the battle continues. Alright, Skaven position. Everything is pulling back right now, and it looks like he's letting his Wolf Rats come out with the Packmaster and the Brood Whore. Not a bad idea, just continue refusing the engagements, but unfortunately it does look like it's getting a little bit clumped, a little bit messy. But I mean, overall, pretty orderly retreat, but you can see some of these units are taking significant damage on the pullout, but I think overall, so far, it seems that the Skaven and Greenskins have been trading pretty evenly. Oh, Poison Wind Mortar is getting some big shots, 2 for 1 right there, hitting the Orc Boys and the Goblins and just doing so much damage. Skaven are continuing to pull back. I'm going to see Grom out here taking a couple of really big hits, but now he's pulling out of the combat. Stone Trolls coming in to help out. A lot of Greenskin infantry pouring in there. And both players, you know, keeping good command and control of their armies. Over here, the Greenskins definitely want to make sure these guys are, you know, keeping up with the rest of the army because they don't want to be too far behind and then get isolated. But so far, you know, we'll see how things go. It does look like we have some very strategic reserves back here in the form of the Durkit Squigs from our Greenskin player. But right now, you know, his micro is all absorbed in this push. And right now, I think he's doing a good job with it. You know, seeing a lot of the Gutter Runners have been dealt with. Wolf Rats are routing and now getting chased off by Forest Goblin Spider Riders. So, you know, a lot of good things starting to happen for the Greenskins here in this mid-game. And as you can see, the balance of power going right to dead even though it has been in Skaven's corner for most of the battle. Alright, Grom the Paunch out here by his lonesome in combat with, oh wow, yeah, pretty much everything he doesn't want to be in combat with, which is the Council Guard, a Brood Whore, and a Packmaster. And Grom the Paunch needs to get out of there, you know? It's not something he should underestimate. It can happen. It can kill him. Stormburn with Halberds getting summoned on top of the Giant when it came into combat, which I like to see quite a lot. If Grom the Paunch can get back to that Giant in one piece, then I think he'll be okay, because now that he has all this infantry support nearby, he should be able to retreat to it, although the Skaven do have their own elite infantry coming into that fight too right now. Over here, though, looks like we're seeing the Gracier, the Plague, taking some serious damage to what appears to be the Giant River Troll Hag and the Stone Trolls. A lot of the Skaven infantry is just kind of falling to pieces now. Besides the Council Guard, of course, since they are unbreakable. But this Giant is actually doing quite a lot of work to him. He isn't going down too easily. Poison Wind Mortars beginning to open fire again. Greenskins do have some tools to shut him down, and it looks like they're about to shut him down for good. Yeah, I think that might be their last volley now that they're sandwiched between Goblins and Forest Goblin Spider Riders. Spirit Leech going down on top of the Gracier this time. And the Greenskins are starting to look stronger and stronger by the minute. Yeah, back here, Squighopper's still in tactical reserves. But honestly, it doesn't look like he's going to need them. Although they would have been, I'm sure, a very nice thing to have up here with that immune to psychology. Another Loon coming out. Oh, wow. That was well placed. That went right through the Council Guard. And trying to see if there's any kind of paths back for the Skaven here, but I'm really not seeing them. It would have to be the most insane terror route I've ever witnessed, but I just don't see it happening. The Greenskin leadership across the board is holding on just fine. Packmaster is getting low on health. Brood Whore is losing health and doesn't have the best leadership. And there it goes. The army loss is kicking in, and the Greenskins going to take a quick 1-0 lead with Prussian Prince. Oh, really? I've never heard of Slay the Spire mobile. But I mean, look at that, guys. Prussian Prince playing that beautifully. I mean, he definitely had some mistakes. Case in point, these guys sat idle the entire fight. But, I mean, all things considered, like, you know, if he wins, he wins. And he had a 750 handicap, basically. But, yeah, across the board, I just think he played that very, very nicely. Initially, I thought they were going to struggle greatly against the Skaven army, and I do think the Skaven army is nicely put together by ODM ChosenOne and definitely has a lot of good tools to take on the greenskins. You have 2 terror-causing units with regeneration that are single entities. That's nice. They're both faster than Grom, and as you can see, they did a lot of damage to Grom. They just weren't able to finish him off. So, yeah, that first round was definitely something fun to behold, and we'll see what happens in round 2, but Prussian Prince taking a quick 1-0 lead. He didn't forget he used it to intimidate his opponent. Ah, I see. Yes. Thank you for the follow, by the way. Much appreciated, friend. I know, Raziel Bell. I've had one of them, but there's usually 2 babies at least in my house, 5 to 6 days of the week. So, let's go ahead and start with the red player this time, since we did Prussian Prince first last round. So, ODM ChosenOne, bringing the Wood Elves this time. Going to have 1, 2, 3, and 4 Glade Riders with spears. Now, for that infantry, it looks like we have 5 Eternal Guard. Looks like alternating between shields and no shields on them. Got 2 Wildwood Rangers, some Blade Singers. Interesting, very elite infantry here for this Wood Elf army. I don't think I've seen these guys in tournament play yet, so curious to see how they do. For some skirmish potential, we do have 4 Glade Guard with Starfire Shafts. And then there was something else that got moved here I missed. Oh, just kidding. It's a 5th Glade Guard with a Starfire Shaft. So, quick high-level view, and I think that's it. So, let's go ahead and cover their Lord, who appears to be Draika. One of my favorite Wood Elf Lords now. Now, Draika is going to... Ooh, come here, you. He's going to be bringing... Oh, God damn it. There we go. Is going to be bringing Rouse to Wrath for that Dryad summon. Got the Penumbral Pendulum, Enfeebling Foe, and then, of course, her bound ability for Fanatical Resolve. Kind of a fun berserk mechanic that continues to improve throughout the battle. Now, taking a look here at the Lizardman Forces. Front line, no surprise, we're going to have 4 Chameleon Skinks, 44% missile resistance, or is it just 40% missile resistance? I think it's just 40. Yeah, so 40% missile resistance, cause poison. They have stock an excellent counter skirmisher to the Wood Elves. We're also going to have Sora Spears with shields, looks like 5 of them. Yep. And we're going to have Skin Cohort with javelins on either flank, 2 Bastiladons with solar engines, as well as Mazda Mundi, who's going to be bringing Net of a Mintok, Apotheosis, Shield of the Old Ones, Banishment, and Ruination of Cities with that Sunburst standard of Hexwaddle. So, the battle is beginning, the skirmishing phases are going, the Chameleons with their blow darts versus the Elves with their bow and arrows. But yeah, very curious to see how this will work out. I mean, there's a lot of fairly elite Wood Elf infantry here, and we'll see if it's able to, you know, claw its way through the front line of Saurus Warriors. Because honestly, yeah, if these Blade Singers against Saurus Warriors, I'm sure they'll trounce them. Armor piercing bonus versus infantry. Banishment going down here. So far not doing the most damage. Oh, Ruination of Cities though coming in, doing some good work. Here comes a Penumbral Pendulum. Devastating the Skink Skirmishers there. Blade Singers are now in combat, and Eternal Guard are flanking the Saurus Warriors, and yeah, these guys are just getting slaughtered between the 2 units. Glade Riders with Spears continuing to harass the flanks. Over here, getting a good route on top of the Skink Cohort with jabs. Eternal Guard with Starfire Shafts are continuing to just target these poor Bastiladons with solar engines, and it looks like the Lizardmen have been caught off guard with this build from the Wood Elves, and I have to say I was caught off guard by it too. I like this build quite a lot. It's interesting, and it's a clever way to counter the current meta for the Lizardmen of, you know, like I see this army all the time for the Lizardmen. Another Penumbral Pendulum going through some Saurus Warriors this time. And look at that. Wild Hippopotamus, thank you for the 5 months of subscriptions, buddy. But yeah, the Wood Elf's doing really well right here. Lizardmen continuing to lose ground on the battlefield and in the balance of power. And this very melee-focused infantry rush build from the High Elf seems to be doing wonders for him. Blade Singers were able to claw through those Saurus Spears without really taking too much damage. They're doing quite well for themselves. And now they're in here killing off the Skink Chief, who has nothing to do with them. And the balance power continues to shift further and further away from the Lizardman player here. Glade Riders with their spears going in, killing off Chameleon Skinks. Eternal Guard chasing off this Bastillodon with a solar engine. And really, I mean, you're just not really seeing too much left on the field of battle for the Lizardmen at this point. You got Mazda Mundi, a very unhealthy Bastillodon, and a single unit of healthy Saurus Spears, whereas the infantry across the board for the rest of the Lizardman army is just not in a good place. Doesn't look like the Spearmen are going to be able to chase this thing off the map. I think the Skink cohort are going to catch up with them before they can. Yeah, these Eternal Guards should just turn around now, but looks like they're going to get rear charged, poisoned. And we'll see what happens from there, but the Blade Singers are nearby, so they should be able to close the gap and also just slaughter those Skinks too. Solar Engine continuing to get focused by the Starfire Shafts. Here comes another volley. That might be enough to make it rout. There goes an Apotheosis. Desperately trying to shore up its health and leadership, and oh man, it's just barely doing enough to like counter the incoming damage. But looks like the Solar Engine may go down for the count right here in just a moment. Meanwhile, over here, we do see that the Blade Singers have come in, started murdering the Skink cohort. Eternal Guard are now freed up to continue pursuing the Bastillodon with the Solar Engine. Another Apotheosis going down over here, and this Solar Engine isn't looking super unhealthy, but the problem is, look at this, the Eternal Guard have nothing blocking them or harassing them, and they still have enough ammunition to where as soon as they close the gap, they can just snipe down this Bastillodon, no problem. Not to mention, there's enough Eternal Guard left in this army to kill off the Bastillodons anyways. No, I think the Glade Guard have had fire whilst moving for a while, Palpatine. I'd like to see the Glade Guard have a little bit more fire discipline right now. I think they could easily eliminate the Bastillodon with the Solar Engine, but they're all kind of just shooting these Saurus Spears right now. And it would be a shame for them to use all their ammunition there before they eliminate the Lizardman monsters. Did I hear Banishment? Yes, I did. And oh, that Banishment going down on top of the Blade Singers and the Wildwood Rangers. And did a nice little bit of damage there. It does look like it's veering off into no man's land now, but Alright, so our spears here getting eliminated. Balance of power getting to an insurmountable place, I would say. And looks like we're going to have a Wood Elf GG and a tied match here between PrussianPrince and ODM ChosenOne. Yeah, they need to change up that banner there for the War Dancers versus the Blazingers. It's a very good point, Romulan. Yeah, the banners, because I know they... I think it's, I don't know if it's still a problem or not. Somebody can let me know. But like Biggins and Orc Boys, that used to be a huge confusing thing too. Like Savage Orcs and Savage Orc Biggins, you just couldn't tell the difference based on the banner. It's one of the few reasons Stormbringer and Sword and Board are good. You can disguise them as clan rats all. Yeah, Stormbringer banner is slightly different. I believe you're right there, Palpatine. But going to this battle, I mean, you know, not to beat a dead horse, I just think this was a cool build, and I think it is very much a direct counter build to the current Lizardman meta that you see a lot right now. Like, this is an army I've seen Falcon bring many times. Not the exact same, I think he has some different variations on it. But, you know, for example, in Soothsayer versus Heisty, it was a very similar thing, but I think so many people see those good players bringing this build, and a lot of people have just been defaulting to it, it seems, in tournaments that I've seen. And this is the first time I've seen a player bring an infantry-focused build. Just really cheap cav to harass and kill skirmishers and stuff. But other than that, just, nope, we're going with 2 Wildwood Rangers and a Bladesinger to murder Saurus Warriors. And, I mean, honestly, yeah, these guys do the trick, no doubt about it. And as long as you can keep them safe from missile fire, since they aren't very well armored, you're in a good spot. And that's why I think these Glade Riders and the Glade Guard were so important, because, you know, the Lizardman player never really got a free moment to, like, okay, let's kill this elite infantry. It was like, okay, if I'm not killing, you know, if I'm not reacting to these Glade Riders, they're going to start running around in my back lines unmolested and get on top of all my skirmishers. If I don't try to counter these Glade Guard, they're going to kill my entire army just shooting it to death. So I do think this army, even though, you know, it's very infantry focused, still had a lot of good pressure points in this army, kind of complemented each other itself well, because you have a ton of mobility here, cheap albeit, but a lot of it, which is there and still important to support your elite infantry build. Because if you upgrade your infantry and then you suddenly don't have any more money for cavalry, and let's say you bring 1 Wild Rider, that's where I think this army would suffer a lot. But with 4 Glade Riders in the back line, I think you can cause a lot of havoc for the Lizardmen. Now, starting with our Bretonnians, because we are back to the beginning of order, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 Peasant Mob. We're also going to have 7 Peasant Bowmen by the looks of it. Looks like we're going to have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, so 4 Poison Arrows and 3 regular Peasant Bowmen. We're going to have 4 Questing Knights. As you can see here, one of them will be the Companions of Quenelle. These guys are ROR, have a bonus versus large, and some pretty nasty flame resistance. We're also going to be seeing, for the heroes, a Damsel of Life on foot, Earthblood and Awakening of the Wood, a Paladin up in the air on a Pegasus with nothing on him, and then King Lewin Leoncoeur. He's going to be bringing the Lion Shield, and, the Sword of Corone, the Lady's Champion, and of course, Blessing of the Lady. Now, interesting not to have Guardian here. I think it's actually something you can take or leave, though. At 150 for 15% physical resistance, it may not be worth that. Now, that rounds out the Bretonnian army, so let's go check out the Lizardmen, who appear to be going with a smaller build. No surprises there, as the Bretonnians love to bring those peasants en masse. We're going to have 3 Pterodon Riders up in the air for the Bretonnians. Or, sorry, the Lizardmen. We're going to have 1, 2, 3, 4 Sora Spears with a single Skink cohort in the backline. The Legion of Shakwa will be included amongst the Sora Spears. They do have that 44% missile resistance ability that lasts for 25 seconds, and they can use it 3 times. So Shield of Shakwa can be quite useful against that many peasant bowmen, but we'll see how it's used. Cohort of Waddle going to be here, the ROR Sacred Cockscores, who you don't see very often, so excited to see how they're utilized here. They do have Sundered Armor. We're going to have 2 Solar Engines as well to give the Lizardmen that initiative, something that they so often lack when they go in these kind of tight defensive builds. So having the 2 Solar Engines at the very least will force Bretonnians to them, and I think may be able to help deal with the Peasant Bowmen and potentially the Questing Knights if they're careless in their approach. Alright, Pterodon Riders look like they may be coming out, trying to draw some fire, maybe soak up some damage or soak up some ammunition. I mean, definitely like to see their micro to be much more active, because you don't want to be losing Pterodon Riders this early, you know. There's a lot of value to them, and I think patience works out best, so I would maybe opening these battle with my Solar Engines, honestly. But over here, nice though, a beautiful rock drop on top of those Peasant Bowmen, so gotta give them credit there. And you know, I'm no Lizardman expert, and this risk may pay off as long as they don't take any more damage or lose any models, because as long as they keep their models, Mazdamundi can heal them right back up with those Apotheosis. I don't even think I mentioned Mazdamundi here, but yeah, he's here, guys, with his usual kit and harmonic conversions added. Solar Engines opening fire, hitting the Paladin, doing some nice damage, causing them to pull back on their attack. And see where it goes from here. I mean, right now, this is a spacing game, and I think the Lizardmen have some good tools to help with that spacing game. You know, because if it comes to just a straight up, both armies are in range of each other and they're shooting, the Bretonnians win, because 7 Peasant Bowmen beats 3 Pterodon Riders and Solar Engines, in my opinion. But as long as the Lizardmen can use these Pterodon Riders and Solar Engines to zone out, like screen out the Bretonnian Peasant Bowmen and keep doing damage at a distance where they can't return fire, you know, maybe you can even the odds before the gap is closed. Alright, Pterodon Riders on the run from Lewin now. And Paladin coming in too, and this is where things are looking like they could get very dicey for the Pterodon Riders. Because one thing you always want to consider when you have, you know, Pterodon Riders up in the air, or any unit up in the air for the matter, is how are you going to support them? Like, you know, if they can't win aerial dominance just on their own, then how do you support them? And from the ground, only the Solar Engines can support them right now. Mazdamundi coming in here, doing some routes and causing some damage, and we'll see how he does from here. But look at this, Mazdamundi now getting caught a bit out of a position perhaps, and looks like he's going to be focused by Karl Franz and some Questing Knights, and he's in range of a lot of the Peasant Bowmen, so he'll have to be careful. But over here, it looks like he's staying in the fight. Questing Knights now coming in for a big rear charge. And King Lewin the Anchor looking like he's going to get back up in the air. Alright, there it goes. Nedivim Mintok on top of Lewin. This is where a big part of the battle will be decided, if not the entire battle, because Mazdamundi and Lewin are both taking a lot of damage. Oh, a beautiful banishment going down there from Mazdamundi, though. And look at it. It's done a lot of damage to these Questing Knights. Not really hitting the Companions of Quenelle too much, but the other Questing Knights definitely suffering from that. And Pterodon Riders, honestly, I would dart one of them onto the ground right now to pin Lewin in place if you can. Ah, no such luck. And Paladin continues to murder Pterodon riders in the air. Alright, Bretonia now, you can see, just kind of has achieved this really nice concave formation over the main engagement, and is just pouring in so many arrows. These, these Saurus Warriors and Croxagores are just being turned into pincushions, and the Lizardman can't afford it. I mean, Croxagores still have full health on top of, or sorry, still full model count on top of them, so we'll see if Mazdamundi can take advantage of that with some Apotheosis. But right now, the balance of power is really turning over to the Bretonians, and as you can see, the vast majority of their peasant bowmen, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, are full health and over half ammunition, and these two are still very healthy on ammunition and at half health or more. So right now, Lizardman chance is not looking the best, and Prussian Prince coming out swinging with his Bretonian army. Trying to find Mazdamundi. Okay, he's over here, way into the rear of the battlefield, chasing around some questy knights. Probably not a bad idea, keeping them as much out of harm's way as possible. But I think the problem now is like the Lizardmen are trying to push forward, and it's not going to work. You know, they're pushing forward, but at the cost of what? So he's going to be able to shut down just this one unit from firing, but meanwhile 6 other units are shooting in from every other angle you can think of. And, you know, that's just really not the right time to try to press forward, I would say. I mean, this army, I feel like, was played a bit too aggressive so far. And, you know, you have the Legion of Shakwa and you have Solar Engines. Just kind of sit back on that, try to avoid pushing forward and finding yourself in this position where you're now getting shot from 2 sides in pretty much a perfect L formation, like ambush at this point. Obviously, there's no element of surprise, so it's not an ambush, but I hope the point gets across. Alright, let's see here. Higher level view of the battle. Peasant bowmen still have plenty of ammunition, unfortunately. Both the Solar Engines are alive, but there's still questy knights and Lewin on the field to deal with them. Lewin is seeing his healing cap up there, so that should give some hope to the Lizardman chances here, but we'll see. I have a feeling if he plays it smart, he's just going to stay in the air and heal back to his cap before he does anything else. Over here, it looks like the Damsel of Life getting netted in place by Mazdamundi, but will she be killed? Remains to be seen, and that's really the question. You can hold her in place and do some damage, but unless you kill her, you have nothing to chase her in this Lizardman army now. Are there Pterodon riders anywhere that I'm missing? Okay, there's some Pterodon riders. Paladin also way off on the peripheries of the battlefield. Coming back down into the main engagements, we're going to be seeing this Solar Engine. Oh, banishment! Mazdamundi getting a deadly banishment, and you have to remember there's only 2 Solar Engines in here. Every other unit was Bretonian pretty much, and now the Legion of Shakwa coming in, and look at that! Oh my goodness gracious, the terror is real. Lord Mazdamundi coming in and smashing some questing knights. King Lewin Leoncoeur jumping up into the air for his life and narrowly escaping. Am I going to be forced to eat my words, chat? We shall see. The balance of power now going their way. Will the Bretonian peasant bowmen be able to pull this back for their lord, King Lewin Leoncoeur? Yeah, my goodness gracious, like the questing knights blobbing up there on top of the Solar Engines, and Mazda throwing down that deadly banishment, and then him just charging in there with their big rear charge. Oh, 2 direct hits on top of Lewin. This is getting crazy, guys. I'm gonna feel like a big dummy. I thought this battle was over when all those Bretonian arrows were pouring in there, but now suddenly a lot of these guys are running out of ammunition. Mazdamundi isn't dead, and he's the person with Apotheosis on the battlefield right now. And his healing cap is way back up towards the top. Solar engines are out of ammunition, though, so that's going to be a big deal. Pterodon Riders, why are you fighting the Paladin? Just go chase Peasant Bowman. Make him chase you. I don't know, guys. This is crazy. Oh, they're some relatively healthy spears coming back into the pocket now. It looks like they're going to successfully reunite, and that's going to make this so hard for Bretonnia. You know, their knights, besides these companions of Quinnell, who are actually, you know, getting routed now and possibly going to break. Well, I guess there's some over here regrouping. I mean, I don't know if Bretonnia's going to be able to crack this nut now. They've run out of ammunition on the Peasant Bowman. Lewin is taking a lot of damage. Paladin is not looking the best. I mean, a couple Earthbloods, though, can get him back up into a better shape. And, yeah, there goes the first of them. Oh, no, they're just going ham. They're diving in for it. Alright, looks like they're going for this solar engine first. Net of Mintok going down on top of Lewin Leonker. Oh, but he's going to get up in the air. God, I hate how that happens. I feel like if they're on the ground and they're netted, they cannot just start flying. Fix it, CA. Fix it! Still got some arrows pouring in here from a few tattered Peasant Bowmen. These guys still have some ammunition. Balance of power back to dead even. One of the solar engines is routing. Paladin is terror routing. Lewin is alone in combat with spears coming up behind him, and Mazdamundi coming in for a hit in the back. I just don't know, guys. Balance of power back into Lizardman favor. Over here, the Lizardman could just go kill this damsel. I don't know why they're not doing that. Oh, they're chasing down their other solar engine, trying to save it. But yeah, if they kill this damsel, though, that will help their chances so much. Remove the healing. She's on foot. She can't run away. But yeah, it looks like he's really dead set on trying to save that other solar engine. I think that's a lost opportunity. I think killing the damsel alone may have helped the balance of power significantly. But time will tell. Over here, Lewin going in hot after this Bastillodon, not wanting to allow it to regroup with the rest of its Lizardman brethren. Mazdamundi probably a few seconds away from another net of a Mintok, but we will see if that comes into play here in their efforts to save this solar engine down to 500 HP. Alright. Shield the Shakwa is on, as some arrows did come flying in. Yeah, I mean, at this point, this Bastillodon isn't even worth chasing. I would just... Maybe he's trying to get to the edge of the map because he does want to, like, terror route Bretonnians off of it. I'm not sure if that's the strategy or what it may be here. No solar engine left behind. Oh, man, I'm just forgetting the warrior ethos. My bad. My bad, guys. The Lizardmen are just doing what any good compatriot should, but also this compatriot should stop running away from the battlefield, leaving his buddies behind, technically speaking. He's the one leaving people behind. Oh no, Mazdamundi caught in a spot. Getting double teamed by Lewin Leonker and the Paladin. I have no idea how this is going to go. The Saurus Warriors are now coming over to support. Lewin starting to waver, not feeling too good. He's routing, and once the Paladin terror routes, I think that's going to trigger army losses. If he terror routes, though, looks like he's gonna. Oh my god! I can't believe this, folks. It does look like the Lizardmen have come back and won it. But maybe I'm about to eat my words once again. Yeah, I'm with you there, Asterion. I think he should have been chasing the archers after he killed the damsel since she was on foot, but, you know? That was an incredible series, and that final battle was like, what a great comeback. What a great comeback. Mazda was Robespierre de Lewin. Yeah, very, very close match, and what a fantastic first best of 3 of the day, everybody. I hope that the herald of good things to come for the rest of the tournament, and holy hell. Prussian Prince and ChosenOne, that was just beautiful games across the board, and ChosenOne finding his spot literally like 5 minutes before the tournament began, getting to fill in for a player who couldn't make it, and playing a very nice best of 3 against Prussian Prince and coming out on top. So great start to the series for him. We'll see how they do in the following rounds of this Swiss.